I know we're a week into March, but I've just been so out of whack recently that mentally I'm starting March now. This is the beginning of March for me. Yeah, lately I've been needing to just turn off my brain and listen to audiobooks and play video games. Stardew Valley and Valheim, in case you're wondering. And recently I'm kind of feeling alive again, so let's do this. You gonna move? You're gonna stay there? Huh? So I haven't been working on my work in progress much lately. But having like this kind of distance from it is allowing me to think of ways to give my MC a little more agency. It's kind of like having this distance has allowed me to release my grip from some scenes, if that makes sense. Also, I've been thinking about a few things that I've been struggling with. Most obvious is how to lengthen the beginning of the story leading up to the catalyst or the inciting incident or whatever, so that we have more time with the murdered character. Right now, my word count's around like 3,800, and most like word count like calculators are saying it should be around like 9,000. So, not good. But I'm already up to like 85 or 87. How much? Ooh, okay. My word count is up to 100,000. It's only supposed to be 90,000. So I have to add more and then edit it back down to 90. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. The second thing I've been thinking about is how to make the second POV character more relatable without it turning into like cop propaganda. I really don't want to do that, but I'm like, I feel like it'll just end up like that unless I make people hate him. In the end, this month is big thinking month as far as writing is concerned. Continuing my writing plans. My actual writing that I'll be working on this month is I need to finish editing this freaking fanfic because I want to write the second part for Camp Nano next month. And while I was editing, I discovered a gigantic plot inconsistency. Luckily, it can be fixed moving forward because I caught it right at the beginning as it was happening before I uploaded the chapter, so I could fix it moving forward. By the way, this is not including the character I forgot existed and stopped writing, so I could insert him and change a few little details moving forward, so I guess it works out pretty well. If I'm changing a scene already, it'll be easier to add him in. Oh god, good poor character, man. Totally forgot about him. On to semi-writing related goals. I am moving my website to Wix. Let's just say I don't write enough blog posts to make it look nice on WordPress, because WordPress, it just looks empty when you have no blog posts on WordPress. So I'm moving to Wix. Oh my god, you're moving around so much. It's gonna make jump cuts really weird. Yeah. Moving to Wix because Wix works nice as like a one-page / couple-page website. So that's what I'm doing. And it's like 90% done. I just need to finish setting up the freaking newsletter thing, which I keep putting off. And that's really it. I got everything else set up and ready to go. I just need to integrate the newsletter. I have to actually write newsletters. I think the most complicated part of migrating to Wix would be going back through all my videos and changing the links to the website, and then changing Twitter and like all the other social media website links. And oh, that reminds me, I still need to make my link page. I need to write that down. Okay, I have no hands. I can't write that down now. Oh no. Alright, I just gotta remember that. So reading, the other half of writing. I ranted about The Chemist in last week's video, but I've also read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and oh my god, I liked that book. I did like that book, but the main character, something she did was like so annoying and so actually kind of creepy that I think I would have actually slapped her in real life. Like, you're going through the book and you know something hanky went on and she's gonna uncover it, but the way she's doing it is like, oh god, this is so uncomfortable. Also, a side note, I went to 4 different high schools and none of them had a senior capstone project like that. None of them. So Gen Z and like you Gen A kids who are about to go into high school, oh my god, I can't even believe that. I mean, having to deal with that plus Common Core, you have my condolences. Holy crap. Like my class, my generation, we had to deal with like the formation of school shooting rules, which were really freaking stupid and completely ineffective, but I feel like I'd rather have that than do all this extra involved crap, man. I also listened to a short story about two characters who get trapped in a virtual reality game with zombies. It was fun to listen to, but I feel like it was written by someone who last played a video game in the 90s. It just had that vibe to it. I could be totally wrong, but it had that vibe. In any case, it occupied a good hour and a half of silence, so 3 stars for that one. The most interesting book I read was The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter. It was excellent. It was like a really good book. I gave it 4 stars. There's one thing I didn't like about it though. There's this scene that happens. It's like a flashback scene. And we flash back to it 3 separate times. One for the first daughter. And then another time for the second daughter who was also in the scene. And I swear to God, when I was listening to it, it was like, why are we listening to this again? There was 2 minutes of new information, and then 20 minutes of this is the same exact scene. Why are you doing this to me? And then, I probably shouldn't tap the table. We listened to it a 3rd time, and the 3rd time was like, hey, you remember that part where we wrote one flowing action? Turns out that there was a big thing that happened right in the middle of that flowing action that we completely did not mention for no reason whatsoever. You could have told us what happened then in the second flashback and it would not have changed the story that much. And while I was listening to this, it was like this big reveal and I was like, okay, I mean, it's terrible. What's happening is terrible and I kind of don't want to be listening to it. You didn't have to save it for a big reveal. This is not the revelation that you wanted to call attention to. As I'm listening to this unfold, I'm just in my brain thinking, okay, this is a teachable moment. This is something I will never do in my own writing because it is insufferable. But anyway, I give the book 4 stars, so don't let that be a discouragement. Although, definitely look up trigger warnings to this book because it's a little graphic. As for reading plans moving forward, I want to read that Tess Garrison novel that I've had on my currently reading section for since December. I've had it there since December and I have not finished it. I need to finish that. It's keeping my other book company that's been on there for 10 years. That's how long I've been on Goodreads. Oh my god. I would love to know if anyone has beaten my 10-year record of not finishing a book on the currently reading section in Goodreads. I just left it there. I'm like, maybe one day. For 10 years straight. The next audiobook I'm probably going to listen to is The Shape of Water. I've never seen the movie, although I've wanted to. And I came across the audiobook and I was like, perfect. Although, I'm not quite sure if that is going to be the next book because I haven't listened to the sample yet. And, I don't know, some voices I just can't listen to. Especially if I can hear the inside of the person's mouth or if they breathe into the microphone. I can't handle it. It ramps up my anxiety to the point where I'm in complete sensory overload and I'm throwing the phone across the room. Actually throwing the phone. I buy very durable phone cases just in case that happens because it will eventually happen. And the worst part is that when I try to explain why exactly a specific voice is weirding me out or freaking me out a little bit, no one really understands. I don't hear anything different. What's the problem? Anyway, getting off of that, an actual Prince book that I want to read is The Loneliest Girl in the Universe. Also not a new book, but it's about this girl. She's probably at least an older teenager, I'm not sure. They haven't specified. She's in a spaceship with her 2 parents and her. It's just those 3, and then the parents die and she's alone in the spaceship. So that's fun. I want to read that one. And then I'm thinking of borrowing from Libby of Curses and Kisses. That's a Beauty and the Beast retelling that I've been thinking about reading for a really long time, but I've never committed to buying it, so I might just be borrowing it. Speaking of buying books, my next book purchase that I'm looking at is going to be Raybearer, because in August, the second half of the duology is coming out, so it'll be boom boom, I could read both of them, and it seems like really good. It had already been on my radar, but then the Dom made a video about it, and I was like, oh, I definitely need to read this. The reviews are great, the hype is high. It's definitely my next purchase. So that kind of wraps it up. I got my reading ahead of me. I'm only 2 books behind on my reading challenge, so that should cover my reading challenge. And I'm working on fixing up my fanfic and planning. Oh god, I got a plan for Nano. Planning for Camp Nano. Anyone else doing Camp Nano next month? Anyway, see you later. Say goodbye. You wanna say goodbye? You don't give a crap. No. You're like, why is my bed moving? Why is it moving?